Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 4 with another challenge. This time, all about going racing with just a single gear. Now, of course, cars with CVTs, electric cars and so on were banned from taking part in this. We were instead going to be building vehicles to A-class. We would then choose a gear that we wanted to use, and after the initial launch, have to stay in that for the entire race. Now, you could build it how you wanted. You could build the car how you wanted as well. For example, I'm using the Rebel machine here that was using second. I just messed around with my gearbox tune, so second was the only gear that I would be needing for this. Now, the challenge comes for building a car for this into what route you go. I went for the power option. I went for 1,000 horsepower racing V8 in this 800 torque, but of course the car still had to be A-class, which meant I was going to be sacrificing grip. I'm on vintage race tyres and they are big, but I don't have much corner speed. My theory being I'd have the power. You could go for a car that was much better handling in the hope of maintaining corner speed, so you didn't need as much power to keep accelerating it. And then of course you have the matter of the gear you're going to be using as well. Do you tune the gear for top speed? You have a very long gear ratio, but you run the risk of being very slow trying to get out of a corner. Do you go for a slightly shorter gear ratio? Yes, you may well be buzzing the limiter for a lot around a circuit, but you could get out of slower corners much better than some of the other cars. It's an interesting challenge, and it makes for some rather unusual racing. I was going for the very much brute force approach. Sacrifice corner speed in the hope that the power and torque would be enough to propel me down the straights. But I didn't know whether that was going to work. So, here we are on the grid for this rather peculiar sort of racing. Now, I am hoping that sheer brute force is going to do the trick with the Rebel. I'm not the only one. In fact, mine is the less powerful of the two Rebels, I'm pretty sure anyway, that we have here. I think Ninetales has the 1,700 horsepower Funko engine. Now, I didn't put that in mind because I didn't want to deal with the turbo lags that go with that potential. So I'm going to be slightly slow, but I might be a little bit more controllable with it. So everyone launches in first gear. Once you hit your desired gear, that's it. You sit in that one. For me, I've adjusted my gearbox in such a way that second is the gear that I want. Now, the Rebel is not very good in the corners at all, really. It's on vintage race tyres, which isn't too bad. However, it's still a big, heavy muscle car. In A-class, a lot of cars will be on race tyres, for example. Normally, you'd be on race tyres or rally tyres or something. This vintage race tyres don't give me much grip, but the hope is we will get to a straight. And when we get to a straight, this is where we will obliterate everything with the 1,000 horsepower. Here we go. Through the middle. Now, we don't have the highest top speed here, but we can pull to 160 miles an hour like nothing else. I'm actually gear limited to 160. I didn't want to go any longer with my gear because if I did, I feared I might struggle getting out of the corners. But everyone else is in the same boat here. And because I have so much power in this and so much torque, it's 1,000 horsepower and 800 or something god torque, yeah, we pull. We absolutely pull on everything. That's. I'm kind of glad we started further back in this one, just so you could see the absurdity of the speed in this. And I say that, and I know Ninetales is quicker than mine. Oh, hello, little Honda. We just gave the Civic a little brush. That was it. We just gave it just a tiniest little friendly nudge, and now we make wide muscle car through it. Not really intentional wide muscle car through a corner. I have to be very careful there and end up in the side of the Honda. Right, unleash the Rebel. Yeah, Ninetales is coming with, isn't it? I see that car in the background. That thing is so quick down the straights. We're going to go to the outside of the Challenger now. I don't have the grip of the Dodge, so we will yield for now. I will probably have more control than Ninetales' Rebel. I fear I might be a little too far back to do much about the Clio up at the front. No, I don't have the grip to go around the outside of the Dodge. Oh, it's not very in control here with three wide and muscle cars. I love how it is a Clio that is leading, well, technically the Clio with a paint that makes it look like a Saxo, so it's the Klaxo that's leading the way. Leading three muscle cars in this, and three, let's face it, well, two of them are barely in control. The Challenger does actually look half okay to drive. Hello. The Challenger probably has 600 horsepower, which is nothing compared to maybe 500 if it's on race side, but nothing compared to the 1,000 horsepower plus monsters. Goodbye. The Sunbeam looks very quick. I'm not sure what that's got. The Sunbeam looks difficult to drive in the first lap, but that's got a big engine in it, I would presume, judging by the fact that's keeping up with Ninetales' Rebel down the straights. That must be quite scary as well. Okay, so we've got 3 insane machines battling for second, something sensible in first, and then, well, probably some mad machines behind that. Come on! Slide it out of there. It's all okay. We're still moving around. This is the other reason why I didn't want 1,700 horsepower perhaps in my car. At least this is a slight bit more manageable. It's only a slight bit more, but it is a little bit more manageable. Also, it's taking all of my powers to not want to change gear. It's really weird. Much like the no brakes racing where the brakes were just disconnected. If you pressed the button, it didn't matter. Here, it's taking every bit of concentration to not want to change gear. Because I really want to change gear, because he's just so used to doing that. On to the back straight we go. Are we far enough away from Ninetales? And to be fair, from Chris's Sunbeam as well, because we're buzzing the limiter now at 160. Will Ninetales even want to try and go around the outside, though, here? That's the problem. Neither of us are in good handling cars. Around the outside there is so risky. And we can defend. Oh, we could defend. Ninetales gets underneath well. Do I have a better gear ratio for acceleration? I do, but it's only a little bit. Oh, didn't mean to do that with a stick. God damn, we're going to have to try and immediately fire back at turn 1. Oh, it's a little bit of a bump. Didn't quite want to go for that much of a nudge through there. We're going to be on the wonky line, and here comes the Sunbeam's going to get both of us as we're fighting. I'm out of control a little bit down this next section. How is the Sunbeam going to... The Sunbeam's not going to fare very well into here. I'm on the grass. That's not what I want at all. Can the Sunbeam... The Sunbeam's wonky. Come on, Rebel. We can do this. Ninetales might still get all of us, though. With the speed of that thing, I'm going to make it difficult. If the Sunbeam wants to get past... Okay, it's going to have to play on the grass. Oh, no, I don't want to be on the outside. No one has any grip. I have bigger tyres than the Sunbeam. That's what I'm working on here. Ninetales might get both of us if we continue to fight like this. Longbow's won. The Klaxo will claim victory here. I'm a wonky line and have no drive, but it's going to be enough. Ninetales has lost the back end, I think, and lost most of the drive with the Rebel. We slide our way to the finish line. We will take a second place. What a mad race. What a mad race. A fantastic race as well in very, very silly machines. The Clio far too quick for us around. It has too much grip, I suspect, through the corners and still okay enough straight line speed. The Tiger a lot better than expected. Never really see them work very well for a lot of, funnily enough, for a lot of races actually. But good to see that doing quite well. Second place. It's something. So, we move on to our second race, the Prince's Street Garden Circuit. Probably not going to be a good track for me. I think that is fair to say. Yes, there is kind of ish a start-finish straight. It'll be funny for the first lap where I'll probably go past a bunch of cars, but then we have to get to the corners. The truth is, while yes, me, Ninetales, Chris perhaps with that Sunbeam Tiger as well, for example, may have the fastest cars straight line speed-wise. We saw how fast the Clio was. It started on pole as well. It makes life even easier for the Clio. You know, my car's just not a good handling thing in the turns. It makes up for it with brute force. Actually, upshifted a little too soon there. I think the Clio wants a challenge, so he's going to go to the back. My handling will probably be the undoing here. Now, the only hope I have is that the gearing on some of the other cars might be worse. My only hope is that they might struggle even more with getting out of these turns, although there might be some cars that sacrifice their top speed knowing they'd be good at a track like this, because we have to use the same gear for everything, whether at a track like this. Oh, that's painful. Look at us all struggle. No one got going out of there. I mean, the Tiger did. Me and Ninetales are now trying to go, but we've just got nowhere to go with all the straight line speed. There's a little bit of argy-bargy. I so want to be in a different gear from this. Nothing. Oh, there's the wheel spin. Suddenly just start to kick in. Oh, end up in the wall. Ninetales wants to go. Now, we want to try and carry some momentum around this final corner. Not quite that wide, though. There goes the Challenger. Here comes the speed of the Rebels. Oh, the Rebels got some street furniture underneath their front wheels. That's not fun. Muscle cars and street furniture. It's getting very busy again. 3 muscle cars does not fit up this part of the course. Oh, no. I need a checkpoint. Sorry. 3 cars does not fit here. We've managed to make a rolling roadblock. I mean, this is one way to stop the Klaxo from winning. If you fill the road full of muscle cars, the Klaxo can't win. I mean, it's not... Oh, no, they're 4 wide. We were legit 4 wide at this track. That shouldn't work. We have kind of got Impega and Speed Beast running away now. They have got away a little bit in all of this. Just a smidge while we fumble around and cause issues for a Clio pretending to be a Citroen. Yeah, you don't want to be on the outside of me or Ninetales. We're both going towards the wall. Let's go! We need to get back past that Renault, otherwise we will never beat it. We need to stay ahead of the Sunbeam as well. I think the Renault will eventually get the better of us. Oh, no, we'll put it in a wall. No, I'm sorry, Longbow. It's not intentional. It's kind of funny. Completely not. I think you're going to eventually get us. The problem is, me and Ninetales are actually really slowing each other down here. The Battle of the Rebels is really not going very well. I want to find a way past, but I can't get past at the right point here. We've got a really good run, but there's just no room to draw alongside on that line. We're not going to be able to get past. Yeah, third might have been there for the taking for one of us. Well, I say that, we actually have to try to stay ahead of the Clio. That's not great. Oh, Leathercap's in the wall. That's not ideal. We're not going to be able to pass again down here. It's our turn to be the one frustrated, struggling, unable to pass around this circuit. I think the Sunbeam might actually be a better combination between handling and just brute force. It has that little bit more grip than we do, while being able to match us for acceleration. It can't match Ninetales for top speed, but that doesn't come into effect on most circuits. Oh, come on, Rebel. We can now, with a little bit of clean air, maybe we can line up something here. Possibly we can line up something. Oh, we have a better power band out of the hairpin, and this time we are alongside to get the checkpoint. There is a little bit of a bump. We're still slipping and sliding our way down here. Oh, this is silly. It should not be this close racing. It shouldn't be this close racing with these cars full stop, let alone these cars doing what we are doing. I cannot make a pass on Ninetales' stick. I guess after the last race, where we managed to fend off Ninetales in what was a quicker... Ninetales was quicker at the previous track. We are quicker here. The battle rages on towards turn 1. Oh... Oh, we got to the inside. Unfortunately, I've got a Corvette in front of us. We're going to push the Corvette a little bit through these corners. I would expect the Corvette to be better through the turns. It does seem to struggle a little bit on the old acceleration. Don't want to end up in the side of it. Ugh. Now who's got the best drive? It would be me. Well, the Sunbeam a little bit better. That did get on the power a smidge sooner. Will the other Rebel make it past? We will have to wait and see. If it does, we've got a better line through this. Can I get the run? Don't slide the car. Almost. Almost got it. Almost got the Sunbeam. All it takes is a good exit. Good exit out of the final corner. This is what we need. Oh, the Tiger hit the fence. Come on, Rebel. It looks like we might be able to get 4th. Oh, it's another bonkers race. Speedbeast takes victory from Impega, an incredibly close battle. Longbow miles faster than all of us. I actually get a faster lap than the Civic and Escort that were battling away up at the front, which I'm quite pleased about. The Morris Morris Traveller goes quicker than me back there, the 56.3. Oh, that was a fun race. Bonkers in every conceivable way. Good fun. So, for our final race with these crazy contraptions, we have come to the Moorhead Windfarm circuit, a track that I don't tend to often use all that much, but we're going to give it a try with this. It's a fairly small track and there are some nasty corners, but we've got quite a lot of elevation changes to deal with. We've got some very, very steep hills, and I mean, it will help the power cars to an extent, but then the tight corners, some of the fast corners as well, might be quite sketchy with this. I think Longbow's given up with the, I say given up with the Clio is so immensely fast. Longbow swapped something slightly less insane in the speed department for a more entertaining race. Apparently, oh, I've got up a gear by accident, just on instinct. My third gear is so long and broken I don't actually get any help out of it. So, no advantage gained in that one. The Morris Traveller is going to lead the way, and I'm already staring at the back. Oh, this is where my say my engine decision, my gearing decision, I don't know, it might work. We've already seen it pulls out the hairpins better than Ninetales, and it kind of pulls a bit better than the Sunbeam. I think what it's safe to say is there are kind of two approaches to this. You either go brutal power or you go handling. Now, handling works, but it only works if you have literally the best handling car and enough power to get away with it. Somehow the Clio fits those bills. Otherwise, brutal power does seem to work everywhere else, or on the most parts. Yeah, the Clio is a bit of an odd one in that there's so much faster than everybody else. I say for no real reason. There are other cars along similar lines to it that just don't seem to quite get the speed. I might have got stuck in traffic for a little too long, and I fear I might struggle to catch that lead pair. Oh, that's a little bit of a clonk on the wall. That's not going to help matters. Come on, make the final corner. We might get stuck in no man's land here at the moment. Spin everything coming across the start-finish line, as you do. My lack of top speed might hurt a smidge here, although you are almost immediately on the brakes again, because this is a narrow corner this way. It's a really deceptive turn, and the amount of times you run into that and you think you've got the car turned in only for it to get even tighter corner about halfway around. Yeah, it's nasty. It looks like Ewan is successfully fending off the Challenger for now. I need Ninetales and Chris to start fighting. If they start going side by side and start having to take compromised lines in this, cost you even more time. If you are not on the perfect line, if you're not on the ultimate racing line, you lose so much. In fact, as Chris is about to demonstrate here, as it's being stuck on the outside for a corner, and you lose all that time. You lose such a big run. It may well be a Rebel 1-2 here as we go over the jump. Oh, I'm not stopping though. Oh, I was probably a pixel or two the right side of that wall. We bounced off it rather than hit it and stopped. If we hit it and stopped, I mean, that would be game over very much there. Come on, Ninetales actually had a bit of a slide coming out of that. We've had a good lap. Despite the clonk on the first wall, we have had a good, or the sketchy braking moment going on towards the first wall. Didn't really want to. Both me and Ninetales brushing. Well, that wall has probably claimed many a car, especially these power machines. Let's face it, these are ridiculously difficult to drive at the best of times. We are looking like we are safe from the Sunbeam. Or Ninetales had a huge sideways moment over the jump, kind of along the similar lines to what I did last time out. Oh, we're being brave in some braking zones, but I don't think that's going to be enough. It's not. We're closing a little bit. I think our lap times might actually be similar if I get everything right. Oh, we've got, again, it's another good run up this hill, but I just lose out in the top end. Ah, it's going to be tantalisingly close, I think, here. But is it going to go our way? It would take more than that. Ninetales brushes the wall, I do not. But even with a good run out of this last corner, which we don't actually get, Ninetales picked up the power better than we did. Ninetales spins it across the line. It'll be second for me. We beat the Sunbeam, though. We don't get faster laps. The Sunbeam gets the fastest lap of the race, surprisingly. Once we've caught it, maybe it doesn't do so well in traffic. It is possible. You see that with some cars. The GS3 ends up in fourth, although we know really the Clio was immensely, stupendously fast. The Morris Traveller ends up fifth ahead of the Challenger. The Escort's in seventh, ahead of the Lotus 11. Miura, Bel Air, and Civic. I think the Corvette may have disconnected in the loading screens. Well, there's a Rebel 1-2 on the podium. Power monsters were kind of the way to go, unless you could have a Clio. There's some magical formula that works with rare cars, and the Clio seems to be one. You can get enough speed out of it while still getting superb grip. that that it works. I mean, it was fun driving a 1,000 horsepower monster. We actually had some very, very good racing in that one, despite the. I say just again, it's another one where we race plenty of A-class cars. We've done something very, very silly with this. Admittedly, we had quite a lot of power and torque to get away with this, with the silly aspect. But yeah, it's good fun. I recommend you give it a try. Build some cars and find what does and what doesn't work in some cases with some unusual sort of racing. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.